just came in to see a friend, and I met this my good friend. He's very good in what lead guitar. So he like, Mr. Light, please come and drop a line on this concept I want to create. I said, oh, a line? He said yes. So I believe you can still sing on it. I said, okay, let me try. And the song I want to sing here is not just a song that I wrote. I just try to make a freestyle. And guess what? I want you to play something. Let's get a line. Oh, yeah. Oh, lift your hand to say, if you feel God is so good to you, lift your hands and say, Lord, I worship you. If you feel God is so good, lift your hands and say, Lord, I worship you. Lift your hands and say, Lord, I worship you. Lift your hands and say, God, I worship you. If you feel God is so good to you, yeah, lift your hands and say, if you feel God is so mighty in your life, lift your hands and say, oh, lift your hands and say, lift your hands and say, lift your hands and say, all the praise to God. Lift your hands and say, Lord, I worship you. Lift your hands and say, God, I worship you. Oh, lift your hands and say, God, I worship you. Oh, lift your hands and say, God, I worship you. Hi. If you feel God is so good, it's so nice to you. Everything you're looking for is always there for you. All you have to say, lift your hands and say, Lord, I worship you. Lord, I worship you. Lord, I worship you. Lord, I worship you. Can you say something? If you feel God is so good to you, lift your hands to say, Lord, I worship you.
Come on, everybody, let's sing now. When the praises is
God
coming to that pride, that pride people
lift
take it
your
back
hands
fast.
and say, He's good.
Thank you, Jesus.